Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You need a water filtration system. You need a water softener. You got to call Better Water or go to betterwater.com. A lot to cover today. We know that Donald Trump is currently meeting with members of the GOP to discuss the one big, beautiful bill. Now, we do have a member of the GOP that is inside that meeting currently. His name, you may have heard of him, Tim Burchett. He's going to be joining the show as he walks out of that meeting. We're not exactly sure what time that's going to be, so just take note. We're going to break into programming, whatever we're talking about, to get an update from Tim Burchett as he calls in. As soon as he calls in, we'll get him on the air. Looking forward to that update on the meeting because if you've been paying attention, this is a big deal. Donald Trump was talking about it moments ago on the Hill, pushing that big, beautiful bill before he walked into that meeting.
It's not a question of holdouts. We have a tremendously unified party. I don't think we've ever had a party like this. There are some people that want a couple of things that maybe I don't like or that they're not going to get. But I think we're going to have tremendous, not luck, we have tremendous talent. This man has done an incredible job as Speaker. You know, we had a majority of one. We were one heart attack away from losing the House, okay? Now we have 7. That's a big, because we won some elections, as you probably noticed, and we're going to win a lot of elections. We have an economy that's roaring. We took out $5.1 billion. If you take a look, $5.1 trillion with a T, not a B. $5.1 trillion out of the Middle East. They're investing more than that. It's going to be ultimately more than that. What, 180 wide-body Boeing aircraft. They're spending money at levels that nobody's ever seen. Usually a president goes for a trip and he loses money. In other words, he gives money. We went for a trip and we took out $5.1 trillion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it, and that's just the beginning. So I think we're a very unified party. The Senate's doing great. John Thune is doing fantastically. He's a great guy, and we're going to have a bill, the one big beautiful bill. I think it's the biggest bill ever passed, and we got to get it done.
So that's Donald Trump moments ago on Capitol Hill, or as Dan was calling it all morning, which I chuckled every time he said it, Crapitol Hill. And the one thing I kind of disagree with is how good of a job Mike Johnson has been doing. Has he been doing a good job? Now, I listen, I'm not knocking the president for not bashing him while he's standing next to the guy, but there's been 5 bills that have been sent to the president's desk. Is Mike Johnson really doing this bang-up job that Trump says he is? I tend to disagree. I think Mike Johnson is a weak Speaker of the House, and I don't know, guys. I don't see too much difference between the way Congress is operating now and the way Congress operated in Trump's first term. It just doesn't seem like they're really wanting to do anything at all. And the proof is in the pudding. I love how he said we're an extremely unified party, because moments after that, he said, by the way, Thomas Massie is a total, complete bum and should be voted out of Congress. This is unity.
Say it.
What are you planning to tell the fiscal hawks who want to delay?
I'm a fiscal hawk.
They don't think this cuts enough spending.
I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a
Thomas
fiscal
Massie
hawk.
said this adds more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden level
No, I don't
spending?
think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some, too. Go ahead.
I don't know, man. I actually like Thomas Massie a lot, and I think that he's pretty principled, and he stands on business every time that he has an opportunity to. Disagree with President Trump there. Also understand why President Trump is so just kind of aggravated, annoyed with Thomas Massie. It seems like every time Donald Trump wants to get something done in the Republican Party, Thomas Massie is there to say this doesn't make sense. I see both sides of this. I'm a Thomas Massie fan. I am. Now, during this round of questioning, one of the questions that came up, of course, was about Joe Biden, and Donald Trump wants to know the question that we all want to know. Who's operating the auto pen?
Biden, look, it's a very sad thing what happened, but I believe we're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew. I said there's nobody that would want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He auto-penned it.
The auto pen did it. There's a lot of things that we need to look into now that the obvious nature of Biden's cognitive decline has hit mainstream. Yeah, who was operating the auto pen? Who was pulling the strings behind the scene? Because there's a lot of stuff that happened during the Biden administration where you wonder, well, was this Biden or was this somebody else? Who was operating the auto pen?
Who was operating the auto pen? This is a very serious thing. We had a president that didn't sign anything. He auto-penned almost everything. He opened the borders of the United States of America. And I kept saying, who would do such a thing? Allowing criminals to pour in from all over the world, not just South America, all over the world. They came in from Africa, they came in from Asia, they came from the Congo. The prisons in the Congo in Africa, these are rough people. The prisons from the Congo are empty. You know where they are? They're in this country. Who would sign this? Nobody would sign it. No sane person would sign it. You know?
Well, Biden, I don't know if you could chalk Biden up to as sane the last 4 years. He definitely wasn't all there. Who would sign this, he says, and you can definitely make the argument, given the cognitive decline of Biden, that he had no idea what he was signing. None. You can go back to conversations that he had with Mike Johnson while he was president, and he was saying, I didn't sign that. I didn't sign that executive order. You remember this. I remember it as well. It was as clear as day. Joe Biden had no idea what was going on. So who was pulling the strings and who was operating the auto pen?
You know who signed it? Radical left lunatics that were running our country, and the auto pen signed it. And they didn't want him, and they were disappointed in getting him because they wanted Bernie Sanders. And then after about 2 weeks, they said, wait a minute, this is a gift. He'll do anything. We're going to use the auto pen. And they used the auto pen and everything.
They wanted Bernie Sanders, and they thought this was a gift. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know if the Democrats actually wanted Bernie Sanders. It seems like anytime Bernie Sanders gets even close to that finish line, they rig it against him. Did you see Bernie Sanders the other day? He was on a podcast with Andrew Schultz, and comedian Andrew Schultz, and he's like, that primary against Hillary was rigged, and they stole that from me. It's about damn time that he honestly opened up to it. But the big thing today that Donald Trump is dealing with, again, is the big, beautiful bill. Now, I'm still waiting to see how things shake out in the big, beautiful bill before I make a determination on whether it's good or whether it's bad. But I do know that anytime the Democrats are kvetching about something, it probably means that we're over the target or at least heading in the right direction. And we've heard the Democrats time and time and time again saying they're cutting Medicaid, they're cutting Medicare, they're going to hurt you. And Donald Trump says that is not the reality of the situation whatsoever.
Consider some of the proposals on the table, like copay provider tax, as a benefit cut. How are you viewing those?
We are looking at one thing. We're not doing any cutting of anything meaningful. The only thing we're cutting is waste, fraud, and abuse. With Medicaid, waste, fraud, and abuse. There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. There's incompetent things, buddy. We have illegal aliens that are multiple killers with multiple murder records getting Medicaid.
Now this is an important point. When you have illegal aliens getting Medicaid, because the Democrats are obviously going to use that to their political advantage, right? They're going to say, X amount of million have been removed from Medicaid. But what they're going to leave out is that X amount of those were illegal aliens. They won't mention that. It's just a pesky little detail. But there's also able-bodied Americans on Medicaid as well that don't need to be, that should be out there working. That we need that. Americans need to work. We shouldn't be footing the bill for your box of fudge rounds, as Oliver Anthony said in that Rich Men North of Richmond. We shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I walked into a gas station yesterday, and it was crazy. There are these two girls at the counter, and they were being and moaning about Donald Trump coming after welfare, and these two grown women were just losing their mind over it. Neither of them looked like they were unable to work. One of them was working at the gas station, and it's like, I'm sorry that times are tough, but you do need to work instead of, I don't know, leech off the government. Can we get back to that? I think we should get back to that.
I don't think anybody minds if we cut that. The Democrats, on the other hand, are going to destroy it because they're going to leave these people on. We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare, and we're not changing Social Security. And if I wanted to do those things, I would have done it during my 4 years that we were.
I love that answer. If I wanted to do it, you know I could have done it the last time. You know that if I wanted to do it, if I wanted to cut Medicaid, Medicare, I could have. I didn't. And he's not going to. But you're going to hear the Democrats make that argument. Oh, he's removed millions from Medicare. Okay. Were they illegal aliens or were they American citizens? Yep. Just get ready for it. But the passing of this bill is Donald Trump's main priority currently. Again, as this meeting lets out with Donald Trump and members of the GOP as they discuss the one big beautiful bill, Congressman Tim Burchett, who is inside that meeting, is going to call us to give us an update. So we'll break into programming whenever he becomes available. But the bill is the priority today with Donald Trump. And he lays out the stakes of the one big beautiful bill as he's answering these questions before he goes into that meeting. And he said, listen, the alternative to the one big beautiful bill is not something American citizens are going to be looking forward to.
Look, the alternative is a 68% tax increase. And you can blame the Democrats for that and one or two grandstanders. We only have one or two, but we have tremendous support. But you'll have a 68% tax increase, or you'll get a massive tax decrease. You'll get a tax cut, the likes of which we've never had before. This is bigger than any Ronald Reagan tax cut. It's even bigger than the tax cut that I gave, because as you know, that's being extended and increased. So this is the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, or you'll get a 68% tax increase.
You choose. Do you want a 68% tax increase or do you want a massive tax cut? Now, again, some of the big promises that he made on the campaign trail: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. And I've heard no tax on tips, no tax on overtime is included. I haven't heard the latest on no tax on Social Security, but by all means, please include that. We've already been taxed on the money. We were taxed on it when it was pulled out. We're gonna be taxed on it again. No, I don't think that our senior citizens in this country should be paying taxes on their Social Security, and I think that absolutely needs to be in the bill. But we'll be talking to Tim Burchett as he walks out of that meeting. He's going to be calling into the show. You're welcome to join the show in the conversation as well at 615-737-9986. By the way, we're live on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Why do you want to watch a radio show on TV? Well, because we have video elements for all the audio that you hear on your radio, and it's always worth a listen, even if you go back and check out the show later in the day in case you missed something, you want to share something. Always up there on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. So the Biden cancer reaction is hitting critical mass. The Dems are now labeling it as a MAGA conspiracy. Yes. Get ready for this. The Daily Beast put out this tweet yesterday, and they said, J.D. Vance wasted no time sharing his concerns that the former president was not capable of doing the job while in office, fueling the MAGA conspiracy about a cover-up of Biden's health. Just so you know, it has now been classified as a MAGA conspiracy that the previous administration was lying about the cancer diagnosis of President Joe Biden. It's a MAGA conspiracy. So you know what that means, right? It means we're right. It means we're absolutely correct, and we are over the target. This was a cover-up of monumental proportions, so much so that now the leftist media is labeling it a MAGA conspiracy. And what do we know about conspiracies? Well, what we know is that if you wait 6 months, they become publicly accepted facts. That's what we've learned ever since the COVID pandemic. Just wait. This MAGA conspiracy, as the Daily Beast described it, is going to become common knowledge in due time. And it's not just MAGA folks speaking out. Many doctors have weighed in on this as well. And Donald Trump weighing in on it also yesterday. We'll bring you all those highlights on the way, plus the reaction from the cancer diagnosis of President Joe Biden. A lot to get to today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. What does Cover Nash do, you might ask? Well, they save you a lot of money on health insurance. And Shane has a brand new option that he's bringing to the market that could absolutely change the game for you. There's a new plan that will bring your deductible down to $250. Yep, just $250, not $5,000, not $8,000, only $250 for your deductible. Does that sound good? Yeah, it does. The best part, though, is that you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You can switch and start saving money right now. See, Shane's been doing this for over 20 years. He's going to shop the entire market for you, over 75 companies to find the best fit for your budget and your health needs. Now, whether you're self-employed between jobs or just plain old overpaying for coverage, talk to Shane because he can easily save you 30 to 60% on those monthly premiums. It is time to stop overpaying for health insurance. It's time to call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023, or you can hit the website, covernash.com. I'm a phone call guy, 615-465-0023. Affordable quality coverage managed by you, not the government, covernash.com.
Middle Tennessee at an increased risk of severe storms today. So what is that timeline? We've got the latest for you. Also, a convicted Tennessee killer is scheduled to be put to death on Thursday. Those stories and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Hey, on the YouTube chat, did you see what's going on in the YouTube chat?
No, I haven't. I've been a little busy this morning.
YouTube chat is jumping. I think it's pronounced Touge fan, Touge, Touge fan.
Let me take a peek.
Touge fan and his wife just gave birth. Just had a baby.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Listen, the YouTube chat. It's not strangers. It's family. It's family. Congratulations, Touge fan, on the baby. That's everything else in life is fake. Honestly, like you can do without just about everything else. The baby. That's what matters. That's what matters. So congratulations. If you want to say congratulations to Touche fan as well, hit like and subscribe. He said that he actually wants to get the kid into a summer camp. So I told him I have a method for this. We just need more likes and subscribes.
Hit 100 likes and his baby can go to summer camp.
Hit 100 likes today, and we'll get him off to summer camp. I promise.
Might be a little early for the kid, you know.
Oh, listen, they'll trust me. They'll thank me later. Take a break when you can, especially with a new one.
Yeah, nothing wrong with arts and crafts early and learning about Jesus sometimes.
Yeah, amen. So congratulations. Hey, Tim Burchett, we just got a 5-minute warning. He's walking out of that GOP meeting with Donald Trump. So he's going to be joining the show and let us know what was discussed inside that meeting on the one big, beautiful bill. I'm going to ask if Thomas Massey was there, and if he was salty in the corner, given Donald Trump's comments about him moments ago. Plus, we'll also ask, where do we stand on everything? Where do we stand on no tax on tips? Where do we stand on no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security? These are big promises that were made on the campaign trail that I do think Donald Trump needs to deliver on in this one big, beautiful bill. Tim Burchett is going to join the show. Next, we're going to jump into news a little bit early to accommodate for that time. It is 9:29 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, Middle Tennessee, we're expecting to get showers, thunderstorms, and every form of springtime weather in today's forecast. Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro has the latest.
Do not let your guard down the entire day. It will pretty much be fair game starting late this morning and going through the afternoon and evening for lines of showers and thunderstorms to work their way through, maybe some individual supercells as well.
He tells us that if the first line of thunderstorms is strong, that the storms that arrive around dinner time could be damaging as well. In Greenbrier yesterday, a car backing out of a driveway struck a 16-month-old child and dragged the little girl for a short time. First responders said, fortunately, that car did not roll over the child, but she did have a lot of cuts and scrapes. She was taken to Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. Charges against the driver are pending. A condemned killer scheduled to die by lethal injection on Thursday has now chosen his last meal.
The Tennessean says 75-year-old Oscar Franklin Smith requested hot dogs, tater tots, and apple pie with vanilla ice cream. But this isn't Smith's first last meal he has chosen. Back in 2022, Smith chose a double bacon cheeseburger, a deep dish apple pie, and vanilla bean ice cream. But that was stayed by Governor Lee because issues had come up with the lethal injection protocol in Tennessee that ended up lasting 3 years. Smith was sent to death row for the 1989 killings of his estranged wife, 35-year-old Judy Robert Smith, and her sons from a previous marriage, 16-year-old Chad Burnett and 13-year-old Jason Burnett. Ken Weaver, WTN News.
That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
9:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You threw me off a little bit, Mason.
This one's always got a little bit of a delay.
All right, so we're waiting for Rep Burchett to come in. But we have a new emerging controversy. Are you ready for this?
I'm here for it.
All right, so Tuj fan just had a baby. Okay? We've established that on the YouTube chat. Congratulations. Here comes the controversy.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be, listen, you're going to hear about this. I just want to warn you. This is not going to be the last time you hear about this.
Did I make a mistake?
No, it had nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be, we are innocent bystanders in this, okay? I just want to let you know.
Okay. Thought I made a bad call earlier.
Tuj fan, this is their first baby.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats.
He made a deal
Oh, yeah?
that he was going to name the baby after Murphy. You ready for this?
Yeah?
They didn't name the baby Murphy.
Uh-oh.
Okay? That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine. And I'm
that's
sure
fine.
Murphy would let it go.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would move on from that. Except for this one little piece.
Oh, what's going on?
They named the baby Dan.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You hear that, Murphy? All the listeners are naming their babies after Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News.
I mean, I guess they're both going around the world bald a little bit, so it makes sense.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the reaction from Murphy on this one. And I'm going to tell him, just so you know. I may be the guy in the back.
Look who's stirring it up now.
Who's stirring the pot.
We're here for it.
Will you send Murphy a text and let him know that Tuj named the baby after Dan and not him?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, perfect.
Wait. That means I'm instigating this, not you. Hold on.
This is how it has to appear. I can't be in it.
You can't be in it? I thought
You have to do it.
Why do I have to do
You're
it?
my producer. This is how it works.
I guess that, you know what? If that's how it works, I guess I'm in the, oh.
Just do it.
I'm going to do it.
So the baby's been named after Dan. The baby was promised to be named after Murphy.
So what do you think the discrepancy is there? Like, what happened?
I would imagine
Yeah.
the wife stepped in and said, we can't name that baby Murphy. That's how I'm seeing it go down.
So there was no, like, Matt or Matthew?
I think they must have just said no, hard pass. Hard pass. I think maybe mom didn't want a silly name for the baby. All right, so that's what's happening over there on the YouTube chat. You can find us anywhere. We're on the iHeartRadio app, the FM dial, the TuneIn app. You can listen that way. You can watch us on SuperTalk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We are patiently awaiting Congressman Tim Burchett to call into the radio show to give us an update on what's happening with that one big, beautiful bill. There is reaction coming out of Capitol Hill, as Dan Mandis was calling it so affectionately this morning, and I'm going to steal. Isn't it so good?
That's nice. I like that.
It's one of the Danurisms. It's Capitol Hill, and it's going to be stolen. I'm going to use that moving forward. But a lot of congressmen and congresswomen weighing in, saying it was a great meeting, great speech. Congressman Brad Knott, great hearing from President Donald Trump. We in the House GOP are working to deliver the best deal for all Americans. Rep. Michelle Fischbach here in Capitol with POTUS standing together to pass one big, beautiful bill and deliver on our promises to the American people. We had Congressman William Timmons, honored to work with President Trump today on Capitol Hill. House Republicans must unite swiftly to pass the one big, beautiful bill, delivering tax cuts, border security, and prosperity for all Americans. Trump says that we have to reduce our taxes. We have to, for the American people. This is how we are going to deliver results. The alternative, he mentioned, was a 68% tax increase. And I don't think you're a fan of that. I know I am certainly not a fan of that. This is Donald Trump moments before he went into the meeting.
Look, the alternative is a 68% tax increase. And you can blame the Democrats for that and one or two grandstanders. We only have one or two, but we have tremendous support. But you'll have a 68% tax increase, or you'll get a massive tax decrease. You'll get a tax cut, the likes of which we've never had before. This is bigger than any Ronald Reagan tax cut. It's even bigger than the tax cut that I gave, because as you know, that's being extended and increased. So this is the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, or you'll get a 68% tax increase.
You want a big tax cut or do you want a big tax increase? And you heard Donald Trump there mention the one grandstander. He's talking about Thomas Massie. He unleashed on Thomas Massie moments before that in this, what is it, a gaggle of reporters, I guess you could call it, outside the meeting that he was walking into. He's not a fan of Thomas Massie.
Say it.
What do you think until the fiscal hawks who wanted to leave?
I'm a fiscal hawk.
They don't think this cut's not spending.
I'm a bigger fiscal hawk. There's nobody like me as a
Thomas
fiscal hawk.
Massie said this adds more deficit than Biden did, and this bill kind of...
Because we have to fix the country.
Do you think that Thomas Massie is correct in saying that this is adding Biden level
No, I don't
spending?
think Thomas Massie understands government. I think he's a grandstander, frankly. He'll probably vote. We don't even talk to him much. I think he should be voted out of office. And I just don't think he understands government. If you ask him a couple of questions, he never gives you an answer. He just says, I'm a no. He thinks he's going to get publicity. And you have that. You have that. They've got some too. Go ahead.
He's brutal when it comes to Thomas Massie. I like Thomas Massie. I tend to disagree with the president there. Maybe he is a grandstander. Maybe you could classify him as that. I do think that he just stands on principle, and I'm a huge fan. I also don't think that it would be successful if they tried to go against him. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like the people of Kentucky do seem to like Thomas Massie. So we'll keep an eye on that. We are waiting patiently for Tim Burchett to join us. He was inside that meeting with the GOP and President Trump moments ago on the Capitol. So he's going to be joining the show momentarily to let us know what was spoken about in the meeting. By all accounts, it does seem like the Republicans are very, very positive in what happened during that meeting. A lot of Republican Congress members posting pics and saying that it was fantastic having President Trump there. They're excited to work with him on the big, beautiful bill. But we're going to hear directly from someone who was in the room momentarily when Congressman Tim Burchett calls in, and look at that, he is on the line now. Hey, you don't even have to worry about all that. I'll just patch him through. Congressman Tim Burchett is now joining the show. He's talking behind the scenes. Hold on, let me put him back on hold. That way you can tell him that he's about to jump on. I was avoiding protocol. I was just going to try and get him on real quick, but it sounded like he was in mid-conversation. But Congressman Burchett was inside that meeting with the GOP and President Trump moments ago on the Capitol. So he is going to be joining the show right now to give us a lay of the land on what happened inside that meeting. As soon as Mason gets done getting his attention, he's kind of doing the thing with Congressman Burchett right now. Joining the show, Congressman Tim Burchett. How we doing, Congressman?
Well, I'm getting ready to get on an elevator, so if I cut out, just left the president. But I'll try to talk.
Okay.
And I'm going to be very rude to these people in the elevator. I hope none of y'all vote in Tennessee. Apologize if you do. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, all right. So, what's your instant reaction from the meeting with President Trump?
I thought the president was like he always is. He was humorous, and he was on topic, and he got around just about to every issue. And I thought he said, "Don't mess with Medicaid," and then he came back though and said, I was a little down about that, but then he said, "Now if they're on there fraudulently, kick them off."
Yep.
And he's right. Let's start there. Let's eat this elephant one bite at a time, and then the SALT talks. He kind of shut those down, which I was glad, because Tennessee, of course, does not have an income tax, and New Jersey, California, and New York, of course, they do not manage their money, so they're asking us to give them a federal tax deduction on the SALT, which is state and local taxes. Now, New Jersey and New York can buy all the LGBTQ museums they want, but dadgummit, the people of Tennessee shouldn't have to pay for it, and that's exactly what they're asking us to do. Manage your own money, throw out these politicians that keep passing this left-wing garbage, and manage your own dadgum money, because there will be no reward for them to do the right thing, because all the left will do is see more money and more tax deductions, and they'll do more left-wing projects. So
Do you think the
in
GOP
effect, it will do the exact opposite. Go ahead.
Do you think the GOP is more united on the big beautiful bill after that meeting with President Trump, or do you still think that we're going to be seeing the same problems?
No, we're going to have a couple, and there's 2 or 3, and he'll be on the phone working, and I suspect I just saw a beep on my phone. I was looking to see if it was him, but I think he's going to start calling some folks and singling out some issues and working around it. He understands the deal.
He called out.
That's what he does.
He called out Thomas Massey by name before going into the meeting. Was Thomas Massey in the meeting, and was he addressed?
Oh yeah, Thomas Massey was sitting right in front of me. So yeah, he was there. But Thomas enjoys that role. You know, he likes to be called Dr. No, and that just, you know, you got to know your market, dude.
Yeah,
everybody's got to have an enemy, and it doesn't hurt him one bit.
Well, where do we go from here after this meeting? What is the next step in the big beautiful bill?
Okay, well, rules votes at 1:00 tonight, which I told the chair lady was a terrible idea. It looks bad, but if they do it at 1:00 tonight, they can bring it to the vote up on Wednesday.
Okay.
So, and then we leave on Thursday, and so that's the plan. And I asked a question. We asked questions. I was the very first one, and I said, Mr. President, are we going to get off our tails and vote for and start pushing your executive orders? Because, you know, as you know, I've filed. I don't know. We're filing 50 or 100 of those. Get them, and he said what I wanted him to say. He said, I'm going to get with your leadership, and we're going to start making those a priority right after the big beautiful bill. So
good.
That's what I hope we do.
Yeah.
And then I hope I lit a fire under him, because I'm sick of waiting, and all we're doing is playing into the left's hands.
Well, and the American people are sick of waiting too. Now, you did mention during your interview with Dan Mandis yesterday that there were some things in the big beautiful bill that you were under the impression that maybe Donald Trump's staff wasn't telling him. Do you still feel like that today?
Well, he addressed that, and he made some very strong suggestions of removing some things and putting some things in there throughout his speech, and I think he's moving in that direction. And so if they're not, then I suspect you'll see him demanding that legislation shortly, because if you know him, he won't. He's not going to lay down on that stuff.
What were some of the things? What were some of the things that he suggested for pulling?
Well, you mean make sure that they're in the bill or not in the bill?
Not in the bill.
Let's see. He mainly just talked about what should be in the bill. He talked about the pipeline restrictions. The Biden administration made a big deal out of, they permitted more oil wells than anybody, but what they didn't do was permit the pipelines. So they, in effect, just choked it all down, and you couldn't get any more oil, and you couldn't get it to production. And that's why we were buying our oil from overseas, when under Trump we were an export nation. That was one of the things he focused on. And he just started talking about his executive orders as only Donald Trump can. He talked about the paper straws and the sinks that didn't have enough flow, and he talked about how he needed flow out of his shower for his glorious hair. And it was classic Donald Trump, but I think he gets it. He knows he wants all those executive orders done, and I thought that was pretty refreshing, actually, because I was afraid that they had kind of pigeonholed those things, our leadership, which I'm pretty sure they had, because everybody's got a constituency of some sort, or their wife and or girlfriend works for one of these big fat cat corporations that's paid our K Street lobbyists a lot of money to lobby us to keep those things out. And he just put leadership on notice, which is exactly what I wanted to do, which probably puts a bullseye on my head, but I'm sick of it. So
are you still
I'm sick of waiting.
Are you still confident today in Speaker Mike Johnson being the right guy for the job?
Yeah, he's the only guy for the job. You've got others up here that are trying to can him just because they want to be a leader, and that's just not going to happen. Is he perfect? No, but Moses wasn't exactly perfect either, and he ended up being the guy for the job. And I suspect what'll happen is now, and see, the president loves Mike Johnson. The president totally supports him because of him. His ability to help him get past every time we've passed these things, maybe 1 or 2 votes, but he's passed them. And Trump appreciates that. In our past leadership, he did not have that they didn't have that relationship because they would tell him one thing and do the other. And I've been with Mike when he's called President Trump on a bill we were working on, I guess about a month ago, and we called the president, and he took our call, and we talked about the whole thing, and I never saw that in the past. As always, they put you on hold and call you 6 weeks later, and we've got a speaker now that listens to the members. And I think that's a threat to some people, and they don't like an honest. And I said to somebody, I said that, well, he's honest. He's never lied to me. And he doesn't cheat on his wife. Somebody said, well, that's a pretty low bar, but that's a pretty good bar for me. You cheat on your dadgum wife, and you cheat on anything. So
I hear you.
Up here. I'm okay with Mike Johnson. I know a lot of people aren't, but that just nobody else can get there.
No,
nobody can get the votes.
I hear where you're coming from. It does sound like you're a little bit more in a better place today with the one big beautiful bill than you have been. Is that a safe assumption?
That's a safe assumption, but I needed to get some assurances, and I never think it's a good idea to come out in favor of something when I don't have those assurances, and I've got them on the Medicaid part. I'm going to get some more on SALT. I'm going to get the numbers on it of what they're talking about, and then we'll see. But I think we're well on our way. We're close. I wish they would have divided this bill up in individual spending bills like we do in Tennessee. America would have more interest in what's going on than just saying, oh, pass the big, beautiful bill because of one portion of it that they like, when they might have something in there that they don't like. People love the border security. That's a huge component of this, but there could be parts that they don't like. So I just wish we would do that and function more as a democracy is supposed to, instead of what we've got going.
Yeah, I'm with you. Congressman Tim Burchett, I appreciate the time. 30 seconds for any final thoughts on the meeting with Donald Trump and the GOP this morning.
Now, President Trump was President Trump. He delivered the message like he needed to do. He pointed out issues that we needed passed. And, I asked a question. He calls you by your first name, and he answered our question. He said that we do, in fact, need to start passing his executive orders. We need to get them in law. We need to codify them so the next president can't unravel them just with the stroke of a pen. I think America needs that type of leadership, and we're tired of waiting around, and we need something. We need to get going. Congress needs to get to work, though.
Amen.
And we've got to, and I would appreciate members of Congress. I would appreciate members of Congress getting calls from people back home telling us to get off our butts and get to work. And pray for our country.
I'm with you, sir, and I appreciate the time. As always, Congressman Tim Burchett, post-Trump GOP meeting. Thank you again, Congressman, for giving us a buzz.
It's always a pleasure.
Hey, we appreciate it. Have a good one. Congressman Tim Burchett. He didn't sound like he was too disgruntled after that meeting. He sounds a bit more positive than he did the other day when he was talking with Dan Mandis on Nashville's Morning News. And I will note, if you were keeping track of the dadgummit scale, we only hit 3, as opposed to 7 last week. So it seems like things are trending in the right direction, at least if you look at the DGS as something that you monitor, as we do here.
It just means you need to ratchet up your dadgummit game.
Maybe I wasn't drawing enough dadgummits out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's a me issue. We'll talk about it inside the commercial break, Joan, all right? It's 9:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
$9:59 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Shout out again to Congressman Tim Burchett for calling in after that meeting between Trump and the GOP to let us know what went down in there. He sounded a lot more confident about that big, beautiful bill than he did last week. And I'm here for it. You know, we'll find out what's in there. We'll find out. It's just these huge bills. We're not going to know everything that's in there until after it gets passed, of course. That's fine. It's what we voted for. You guys gotta trust the guy in charge. And it sounds like the Republicans are trying to do that to the best of their ability. The Democrats have an issue, though. The Democrats have a massive cleanup operation underway with the cancer diagnosis of one Joe Biden. When did it happen? How did it happen? Donald Trump weighed in on it yesterday. Now, while leftist mainstream media outlets are calling this a MAGA conspiracy Donald Trump says, no, this is just what happened. We'll bring you those highlights when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There was an accident this morning. Make that construction work that's got James Robertson Parkway jammed up on the westbound side, 2nd Avenue North to 4th Avenue North. Careful around that area. President Trump holding a meeting with House Republicans this morning as he talked up his big, beautiful bill. We're hearing that he told the GOPers not to mess around with Medicaid, but he used saltier language than that.
Here on Capitol Hill, President Trump making a rare appearance in a critical test of his influence amongst House Republicans. And that's because House Republican leadership now bringing him in to be their closer on his so-called big, beautiful bill, a compilation of all of his legislative agenda into one piece of legislation, and days out from an expected vote in the House on that.
ABC's Jay O'Brien there. Chris will have more on this meeting coming up throughout the day. Well, it's back to class today for schools in Cheatham County, all of which were evacuated and closed early yesterday over phoned-in threats.
These aren't jokes. We're going to take them serious no matter what. And it's not funny. Whether you mean it, you're intentional about it or not, it's going to be treated the same way.
Lieutenant Gene McCollum at the Cheatham County Sheriff's Office. 46-year-old Kenneth Smith of Robertson County arrested for making those threats. He's facing felony charges. Clarksville Fire and Rescue fear that a 12-year-old boy has drowned in the Red River, and they've been searching since Sunday afternoon. Crews are focused on the areas where the river bends as a potential spot where that boy could be.
So in our experience, when someone drowns, they go to the bottom, they stay there. So hopefully he's still in the vicinity of where we're searching. If we're not successful today, then we'll absolutely expand our search area downstream. But hopefully the dogs give us a good indication.
The boy's father telling authorities that he went missing while swimming and then never resurfaced. Elon Musk says he will not be such a big spender on future political campaigns. The CEO of Tesla and SpaceX spent more than $250 million helping President Trump win a second term. He told a crowd gathered at the Qatar Economic Forum that he's done enough. But if he sees a reason to do political spending in the future, he will. Dow Jones Industrials right now trading 128 points lower. The Nasdaq falling 89. The S&P 500 index is minus 21. That's the latest news. Traffic, Make That Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. If you're over there on any of those platforms, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the share button. We appreciate it when you do so. If you want to help us grow the show, that's one way that you can do it, and we appreciate you doing so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I told you I'd get it, man.
Yeah, you did. It's raining out there like crazy.
Dude, it's pouring right now.
Would you consider that cats and dogs?
At least puppies and kittens, for sure.
It's definitely raining puppies and kittens.
Yeah.
Do you follow Nashville or Nash Severe Weather on Twitter?
Bro, you know my connection with Twitter.
Mason doesn't do Twitter that well.
I don't do it that well.
Nash Severe Weather said storms are doing their thing. Nothing major except for the lightning. Another line behind this one, wavering intensity, but things are pretty much on track with the forecast.
Cool. Good.
So should the weather become severe in any shape or form, obviously we'll break into normal programming and we'll have you covered. That's obviously our number one priority should anything get dicey.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it looks like we're just dealing with rain and lightning, maybe some thunder.
Feel the
lightning and the thunder.
Thunder.
It's a little Imagine Dragons. That was the reference.
Yeah. Imagine what? Sorry.
Speaking of imagining, you ready for this? This is a radio segue. The Democrats are now labeling us, calling it a cover-up of Biden's cancer diagnosis, a MAGA conspiracy. This is my favorite kind, actually. I didn't know. The Daily Beast put out this headline on a tweet. J.D. Vance wasted no time sharing his concerns that the former president was not capable of doing the job while in office, fueling the MAGA conspiracy about a cover-up of Joe Biden's health. Like I said, I think the fact that they put the term conspiracy on it just means we're right. We just have to wait 6 months for the public to acknowledge us. We know it's a cover-up. It's a cover-up of monumental proportions. The man had cancer, probably for his entire presidential term. It's a MAGA conspiracy. Okay. Okay.
What?
Just like when they told us that him shaking hands with dead people was a MAGA conspiracy that he had cognitive decline. Right? Is Joan here? Where's Joan? Joan's dead, sir. Joan's dead.
Ooh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, my goodness.
There was so much material from that. But the reality of the situation is it's pretty scary. The guy that was supposed to be running the country doesn't even seem like he could run a dishwasher. You know, it's just just fact of the matter.
Sir, it's the button on the right, please.
I know. Donald Trump was asked about Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis, and he didn't hold back. And he wants to investigate who is in control of, well, you guessed it, the auto pen. This is Donald Trump yesterday talking about the diagnosis of Joe Biden.
It's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical. Good.
Yeah, I mean, it should be standard, and you can make the argument if they're going to try and say the doctors missed this, well, then the argument needs to move to medical malpractice. Who was in charge of the president's health, and why was this test missed? Now, that's what the Democrats are going with. Oh, it's new. We didn't know. We had no idea. That's what the Democrats are going with, which is obvious. To quote the late, great Phil Valentine, obvious bovine scatology. They should have known. They should have known, or they should be calling for the medical license of all those doctors who missed the diagnosis, but they're not. Instead, the Democrats are labeling this another MAGA conspiracy theory. Okay, I'll take it.
Good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I do it. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. You proud of me? Yes. Your husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risk. If I didn't get them all right, these people would be after me. It would be not a good situation. But I think, frankly, anybody running for president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test wouldn't be so bad.
No, when he's shaking hands with dead people, when he's roaming away from world leaders, when he's having his wrist grabbed by Obama to lead him off stage, when he doesn't remember who George Clooney is, when he's talking to the Speaker of the House and he's arguing with him that he didn't sign executive orders that we were told he signed. Yeah, I think a cognitive test would have made the most sense.
But when you take tests, medical, as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation.
It's like, you know this, the doctors on The Simpsons, where you have Dr. Herbert, right, who's like the Bill Cosby doctor.
Yeah.
And he's like on point, and he's really good. But then there's like the cheap doctor in town, Dr. Nick. Was that who Biden was seeing? You know what I mean? Like, is that what
I'm in danger.
Yeah, honestly, is that what was going on? Inquiring minds would like to know. And why aren't the Democrats calling for the medical license of these doctors if they miss this diagnosis? Why are the Democrats only pointing the fingers at Republicans saying that we're conspiracy theorists? Because they know what time it is.
And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. The auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that was not good, they also, you have to look and you have to say that the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed. And I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's two separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time. It can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation, and I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved.
No, he went to the Dr. Nick of White House doctors. Now, CBS, they have their own theory on what happened. CBS News had a medical contributor on following the Biden diagnoses. And this former Biden transition official claims that White House doctors didn't do the PSA test for prostate cancer because they were going to save some money because of Joe Biden's advanced age. To any Democrat that watches this and buys this explanation, hook, line, and sinker, I have oceanfront property for you in Arizona, and I want to also sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, albeit at a discounted rate because of the damage from that Mexican ship. So let me know in the comments if you would like to buy either of those, if you believe this explanation given on CBS News.
Thought it took a while to do that. Wouldn't he be getting regular checkups?
Yeah, so it depends on the kind of cancer you're talking about here. We do know it's quite aggressive again. So the time in which it would take to spread to the bones is going to be shorter than with a less aggressive cancer. And he's 82. Normally, doctors will stop screening for prostate cancer at 75 or so, because after that, the prostate cancers you typically pick up are very slow growing. And so the harms of all of the testing and treatment for something that may not kill you, you're talking about risk versus benefit. It may not be worth the risk.
Okay. He's the sitting president of the United States, and you're not going to test him for prostate cancer. The risks and the benefits. I didn't know Democrats did this kind of stuff with medical procedures. I thought it was one size fits all, and you do it to save another. Remember that? Oh, risk versus benefit. The benefits weren't there versus the risk. It's like, oh, weird. I remember having that same argument during COVID, and you guys wanted to fire us from our jobs. Do you believe that? She went on TV and said that. He was older than 75, so we don't do those tests. That's strange. It's a bit odd. They're still doing those tests on Donald Trump, isn't it? He's older than 75. Again, if you believe this explanation that they broadcasted on CBS, let me sell you some oceanfront property in Arizona. Honestly. This is such a joke. And the Democrats want you to think that you're a conspiracy theorist. You are. Dr. Drew, who you may remember from Loveline and other things, Dr. Drew was not exactly impressed with the way the Democrats have been handling this diagnosis, and he goes off in the latest revelations about Biden and this scandal.
The reality is we've been gaslit. We've been given inadequate information, incomplete information about the leader of the free world. We're still being gaslit at this moment where they say, oh, we found a nodule. Lo and behold, metastatic disease. No, did not happen that way. I guarantee you it didn't happen that way. At very minimum, they were following his PSA, which they're not telling us about because that will tell a different story. They're still being gaslit. And I'm telling you what, every journalist in this country that blew smoke on his behalf about how great he is, how he's sharp as a tack, has, photographic memory. You got to wake up this morning and examine yourself. You've been delusional, you've been misled, you've been played, and you have been attacking people who bring up the issue, what's going on? We should know what is happening to the President of the United States. This is all disgusting, and it has scandal written all over it, Dana.
Thank you, Dr. Drew. Yeah, it has scandal written all over it. Annie in Murfreesboro wants to talk about Joe Biden. What's up, Annie?
Oh, it's Amy. Hey.
Hey, what's up, Amy? Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Question though, did anybody else notice he was telling on himself all along? He wasn't signing executive orders. Apparently, he wasn't cancer free like they tried to tell us. He had that big interview where he said, I've got cancer because of whatever road he was living on, and his mama dropping down it.
Yep.
The poor guy told us the whole time.
Yeah.
And the White House just gaslit the heck out of us. And I'll tell you, I've got another question, and a big one. What about all these pardons? Who really signed them? Because if he didn't, doesn't that invalidate them?
I'm with you. Not just the pardons. I mean, you can go back to even like the appointment of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Only the president can do that. And if he wasn't all there, did he do it? I mean, there's a lot of questions that this. Yeah, it's insane, Amy, and I appreciate the call. Amy brought up Joe Biden telling on himself in 2022. This was Joe Biden saying that he had cancer again in 2022.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Whoa, Mr. Biden. What was it that you said right there?
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Oh, that was in 2022.
Wait a second.
Now, in 2022, when he said that, we took it as just another example of his brain being broken, which still may be true. Still may be true. Because they probably said, hey, don't talk about the cancer, and then the broken brain got in the way.
That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Yeah. Two things can be true. But he told us. He told us. And now the Democrats are saying, listen, we really shouldn't be talking about this. It's downright inappropriate to be talking about this. At least that's what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, or as we affectionately call him on the show, Timu Obama, said yesterday.
Thank you, sir. Given the revelations with President Biden's cancer diagnosis and the release of the her recording, why were Democrats not more open to talking about President Biden's age in 2024?
My thoughts and prayers have been extended to President Biden. It's a painful moment for him and his family. It's a very serious diagnosis. My expectation that President Biden is going to meet this moment with the courage and resilience that he's consistently shown. It seems to me entirely inappropriate that at this moment in time, when President Biden is dealing with a serious and aggressive form of cancer.
Wait for it. Here it comes.
There are Republicans who are peddling conspiracy theories. And
Okay. Oh, yeah. At this moment, guys, it is so inappropriate and so insensitive. Joe Biden has cancer. And you dastardly Republicans are spreading MAGA-fueled conspiracy theories that he knew for a lot longer. You're spreading these conspiracy theories that he had cognitive decline. It's so inappropriate. It's inappropriate. This is how you know that they don't have a leg to stand on currently. And we are over the target. It's 1022. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
What's next? Now that President Trump has applied pressure to hold out GOPers over his big, beautiful bill. And he looked both ways, and he was in a crosswalk, but a hit-and-run driver mowed down this Nashville visitor downtown. That and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 10:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Did you see the video of that guy getting hit by a car?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my gosh.
Wait, where'd it happen?
It was downtown somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it. I think Murphy talked about it a little bit with that bus.
I think it was Fox 17 posted it.
Man. Yeah, I heard it was brutal.
It's wild.
Yeah. Not a fan of car crash videos, that's for sure.
You don't like them?
Not particularly, especially if I can see people. If I can see people, I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I can't look away.
I mean,
if somebody's getting hit by something, I have to watch it.
Here's the thing. If it's playing already, it's like I can't look away from this horror movie.
Yep.
But if I'm not actively seeking them out.
We talked about this the other day on the morning show.
Oh yeah.
That's like my go-to for when I'm like, the kids are doing preschool graduation.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get teary-eyed. I think about videos like that. It works. It works every time.
I feel like they would both make you teary-eyed for different reasons.
Hakeem Jeffries says that the Republicans are pushing conspiracy theories, and it's a bit inappropriate.
Highly inappropriate that at this moment in time, when President Biden is dealing with a serious and aggressive form of cancer, there are Republicans who are peddling conspiracy theories. And
it's entirely inappropriate. Christine in Dixon wants to talk about the prostate cancer. And before we get started, Christine, I just want you to let you know it's entirely inappropriate to be talking about MAGA conspiracy theories.
Oh, besides the prostate cancer, I do have a MAGA conspiracy theory I would love to share.
All right, perfect. What do you got?
Okay, well, my husband had it. And we diagnosed it early because we knew his father had it, who was diagnosed at 85, and it was metastatic. My grandfather was diagnosed at 74. So this thing that they didn't know that it was there and that they weren't monitoring him more closely with the best doctors in the world.
For many of us, generators are becoming...
It stinks. Something stinks.
100%.
And that is not a conspiracy theory. I know because I've dealt with it, and it's a horrible way to die.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't like Joe Biden, I feel so bad for him that they let this happen to him.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's heartbreaking, and I'm sorry to hear about your family members too. That's not what you want. But you would almost imagine that the president of the United States may get a little bit better medical care than your average citizen. No.
Well, it's Bethesda, correct? They misdiagnosed my grandfather, who was a commander in the United States Navy. They told him he was cancer-free, and he was dead 3 months later.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. I'm so sorry.
That's so to the fact that they're the best doctors in the world, I would love to say that, or they're lying, which I don't know which, judging by my experience.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Christine. Thank you so much. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Hakeem Jeffrey says it's completely inappropriate to be talking about this, you guys. Joe Biden, he's in a fight right now, and to be pushing these MAGA conspiracy theories, it's just wrong. It's just wrong in so many ways. So I'm not going to push those conspiracy theories on this show. Not here. Not today. Not at a time like this. Tell you what, though, there's one guy who was like, had he been smarter, he would have used this Joe Biden cancer diagnosis to his advantage. However, he's not a smart individual at all. I'm talking about James Comey, and I'll tell you what I mean when we get back. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump addressed the concerns that some House GOPers have about the big, beautiful bill in an effort to get it passed. Tennessee's Tim Burchett telling Chris Ham that he thinks that it went well, and he thinks that the vote will go the way the president wants it to go.
Rules votes at 1 o'clock tonight, which I told the chair lady was a terrible idea. It looks bad, but if they do it at 1 o'clock tonight, they can bring it to the vote up on Wednesday. and then we leave on Thursday.
Multiple outlets reporting the president warned Republicans not to mess around with Medicaid, with the exception of getting illegal aliens off the program. The search is on for the hit-and-run driver who mowed down a visitor from Florida. He had been in Nashville with his family to celebrate his 21st birthday. Zachary Sriracha's mom watched as her son looked both ways and then started to cross Church Street when he was hit.
Nobody should ever go through that and then be left like a piece of garbage on the road just because someone didn't care enough to stop. Please help me bring justice for my son because he matters.
Sriracha suffered broken bones but is expected to recover. Police are looking for a white Mitsubishi Mirage with front-end damage on the passenger's side. And a 33-year-old sheriff's office maintenance worker has been arrested for helping 10 Louisiana jail inmates escape. Sterling Williams told police the escapees asked him to turn off the water in the cell before the men slipped away through a hole behind a toilet. He did and never reported the inmates to authorities.
The words "too easy, LOL" were written on the wall above the hole through which 10 Orleans Parish prisoners escaped. District Attorney Jason Rogers Williams has been calling victims and witnesses
to let them know that the defendants in these cases, in their cases, were out and at large.
Some of the prosecutors involved in those cases have left New Orleans, at least temporarily, for fear that the escapees might be looking for them. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and they still want to save you some money. You see, the TVA rebates have been extended, and that's a pretty good deal if you need or have been thinking about a new mini-split system. Now is the time. You can get an $800 rebate on qualifying 17 SEER 2 or higher systems, and depending on your credit, you're not even paying for that thing for up to 12 months with no payments and no interest. Busy Bee is also giving you $50 rebates on your spring and fall HVAC tune-ups. That's $100 back a year, and if you do napkin math, you'll understand that at $99 per unit for a Beehive Club membership, they're essentially paying you to join the Beehive Club. Also, just a point of note, you need a gig, Busy Bee is currently hiring. They're hosting an open house on May 31st from 10 to 2. So if you've got 3 or more years of experience in plumbing or HVAC, these guys want to talk to you. Good pay, too, $30 to $39 an hour, plus all the benefits. Call Busy Bee today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling online, busybeehvac.com. 1036 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. BetterWater.com for your water filtration system. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us over on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, personal favorite, YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. We got the chat jumping over there today. Major controversy. We had a listener, Touche fan, just had a baby. Congratulations. Big news. But the controversy is that he had promised Matt Murphy that he would name the baby after him. And he named the baby Dan. So I'm telling you, this is not going to sit well with Murphy. Come 3 o'clock. I think he's going to have a lot of problems with you people. So you're going to hear about it.
I texted him.
Did you text him?
I texted him, and he goes, "It's Touche, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, It's the only response I got. I'm just saying.
That is not a good sign.
I just got a
Not a good sign. Not a good sign. All right. I'm going to be listening come 3 o'clock.
So, Touche, I'm happy for you. Congratulations, but watch out for the impending storm coming at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a bittersweet day.
It's a day of storms for sure.
I think had you gone with Greg, there wouldn't be any controversy.
Is it Greg 2 G's or 1?
Yeah.
That's the thing we got.
No, listen, but that would have been fine. You gone with not anything else. Will perfectly fine, But you went with Dan. Ooh.
Is it Dan or is it Daniel though? That's what I want to know.
Well, I don't. I know a guy in the afternoon show that is not going to. It's not going to change his mind about anything. All right. So when the Biden cancer story broke, I thought to myself, there is one guy that is going to benefit more from this story than anyone else. Right? Just one man. And I know it's kind of weird to think like, oh, the last president has cancer. Somebody's going to benefit from this. But there was one guy that was absolutely going to benefit from it. 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. He goes by the name James Comey. And he would have benefited from the Biden cancer story because, we all forgot about James Comey doing the seashell death threat, right? We had forgotten about it. And I don't know who's handling his PR, who's in charge of the crisis management, because all these losers have it. Like, they all have a firm that works for them that is booking interviews and dealing with crisis management. And posting a death threat to the President of the United States and being visited by Secret Service, without a shadow of a doubt, that's crisis management 101. So I'm sure somebody on his team is like, okay, we got to make this right. You got to go do an interview. Okay, fine. That probably would have been the right course to take. Until on Sunday, it was announced that Joe Biden had cancer. And then whoever is in charge of James Comey's PR at that point should have said, sir, we're going to cancel the interviews because everybody's going to forget about this, and let's just move on. That's what somebody with just a little bit of foresight would think. Let's just lay low. This is going to blow over. At this point, there's too much going on. It's going to blow over. That would have been the smart move. James Comey, though, however, is an absolute idiot and obviously hires a crisis management firm that has no idea what they're doing because he decided to sit down for an interview yesterday. Again, in the light of all of the Biden cancer revelations, the cognitive decline, the her tapes, the big, beautiful bill. I mean, we have so much going on. Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. You should have just sat on your hands and waited for this all to blow over. James Comey doesn't do that, though. James Comey hops on MSNBC yesterday for a tell-all interview to share his side of the story when it came to the infamous seashell death threat. It's going to get tough for me to say this. I almost went she-shell.
Seashell. Tongue twister for a reason.
She sells down by the seashore.
She frames seashells down by the seashore.
So James Comey decides to go to MSNBC for this interview anyway. Dumb. Granted, it's MSNBC, so it's a softball interview, and he's not going to have any pushback. Still, dumb. Absolutely dumb. I'll be honest with you, I'd forgotten. I'm like, there was so much going on. Even a guy that pays attention 24/7. I was like, yep, totally spaced on that. Thanks for giving the interview, James. Smart move, pal. This is his explanation for what happened that fateful day on the beach where he came across some artistic seashells.
You were back in the middle of a political firestorm.
Yeah, for walking on the beach with my wife. So I don't know how we ended up here. It never occurred to me that it was any kind of controversial thing, but that's the time we live in.
Oh, I'm just a guy on the beach with my wife. That's why I'm mired in political controversy. Because I was holding hands with my wife, enjoying that salty ocean air. No, sir. No. You posted a death threat to the president on your Instagram. That's why we're here.
So take me back to the walk on the beach.
We were walking on the beach. We went to the beach to prepare for this week, which was the launch of my book, and to think about the book and to prepare to answer questions about it.
What a coincidence. And you just stumbled across the seashell death threat and thought, this is nice. This is fine. Let me post it. I fully believe that this was a calculated move to gin up attention for his book. And if I thought any of you were going to buy the book, I wouldn't be talking about it because I wouldn't want to be giving the book attention. However, I'm pretty confident in this audience that it's not going to translate into book sales. So he's on the beach, holding hands, enjoying a sunset. We left the flip-flops where we walked in. We're bare feet. We're just enjoying, the water's touching our toes, and we're just enjoying our day. That's all we're doing. We're thinking about the book. Okay. Continue.
And we were walking back towards the road, and we saw in the sand someone had arranged shells with numbers. And Patrice, my wife, said, why would someone put an address in the sand? And I said, I don't know. And we stood over it, and I said, I think it's some kind of like political message.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure that's how it happened, right?
I think
that's so weird that there's an address here because we're on the beach and there's no houses.
I think it's some kind of political message.
Ooh, gee whiz, guys.
Oh,
gee willikers.
What do you think this might be?
Lordy.
Could be anything. Let me use my power of investigation from my time at the FBI. Let me put on my FBI director hat, hun. You know what?
Wow.
I think this could be political.
And she said, 86, when I was a server, she did a lot of work in restaurants, meant to remove an item from the menu when you ran out of ingredients. And I said, well, to me, as a kid, it always meant to leave a place, to ditch a place. I said, that's really clever.
Oh, it's so clever. And that was the first time I had thought about it since I had been a child.
Wow.
So I'd never, again, this man had the opportunity to lay low and be forgotten about because of the Biden cancer diagnosis, and then he goes down to MSNBC, and this is his side of the story.
So then she said, you should take a picture of that, and I did. And then I posted it on my Instagram account and thought nothing more of it until...
I was like, can you believe my dumb wife thought this was an address? It's like, what?
I heard through her that people were saying it was some sort of a call for assassination, which is crazy, but I took it down. Even if I think it's crazy, I don't want to be associated with violence of any kind.
No, it was crazy. That's crazy, says the guy who went after and targeted mobsters. 8 miles out of town, 6 feet underground, 86. I thought it was a restaurant thing. I knew it was some sort of political message. My wife said, James, you got a nice camera on your iPhone. You're going to want to remember these seashells. I said, yeah, I will. It's so great. Let me take a picture of this. And then I posted it on Instagram, and then there was this uproar, and I don't even check Instagram. So my wife is like, James, have you seen Instagram? I had no idea. And I didn't want to make anybody think I'm insinuating that we need to commit acts of violence against the president. So I promptly took it down. That's the story he's sticking with. Okay. Let's hear more from James and his side of the story.
Tell us about, take us through all of the ways he sought to investigate you. He's been tweeting about investigating you and prosecuting you, I think, since 2017, shortly after he fired you.
James, this is MSNBC. So instead of asking about the seashells, I really would rather know how you're the victim in this situation. Could you tell us about that?
I think that's right. And intentionally don't keep track of these things, but he has, and I hope no one will, but he has dozens of times called for me to be incarcerated and accused me of all manner of things. And I was investigated repeatedly in a variety of different ways in his first term. I went through the mother of all IRS audits, which cost me thousands of dollars, but I got a $347 refund at the end. Turns out I had overpaid my taxes. But just again and again and again, I really thought that I was done. I was in another life. I was a grandfather and an author wearing, sweaters and jeans.
I'm just a grandfather and an author in sweaters and jeans, guys. Come on. Would a grandfather and an author in a sweater call for the assassination of the president? Come on, that's just crazy talk. That's just, and he wanted to investigate me all the time. Yeah, because you're a dirty, crooked cop. And we're learning more and more about your FBI as Kash Patel and Dan Bongino get to sift through all the files. Yeah, you were a dirty cop. You deserve to be investigated. I think you deserve to be in a courtroom and behind bars, James. And I hope that the DOJ takes this very seriously, and you do face some repercussions for this.
And then I went for a walk on the beach and posted a silly picture of shells that I thought was a clever way to express a political viewpoint. And actually, I still think it is. I don't see it the way some people are still saying it is.
Oh, it's so silly. It was just a silly picture of shells. What are you going to do, guys? I'm just a grandfather. A grandfather who happens to write books and wear sweaters. And I enjoy things like walks on the beach and seashells. All right? Is that a crime? And it's like, no. But while we don't think that James Comey is going to, pull the trigger, he's going to influence an insane person to do that and try to become a hero or a martyr. And Dan Bongino posted on X yesterday, we're now dealing with copycats, sending cryptic threats to public figures using the 86 reference. Whether they turn out to be legitimate threats or not, taxpayer-funded public safety agents are going to have to run all these out and investigate them. This is a reminder of the damage of self-serving individuals with a history of extremely poor judgment and what they can do when they fail to control their impulses. He's absolutely right. It was never really about James Comey. It was about the lunatics that he was going to inspire. And make no mistake, the lunatics have been inspired. Do you see what they're selling on Amazon now? They're selling 8647 hats. That's nice. That's cool. Just buy your pro-Trump assassination gear now on Amazon.com. Overnight delivery if you buy $25 worth or more of assassination gear. That's okay. These people are feeling emboldened.
I'm surprised they didn't make it in the MAGA red with the white.
Yeah. It's just.
But I guess they don't want to be mistaken.
No. 8647. There's nothing wrong with this.
Wild.
But James Comey, he wants you to know that, like, at the end of the day, he's not about the Republican-Democrat divide. Okay, he was an unbiased FBI director, and he wants you to understand that. And he made that point on MSNBC.
Donald Trump fires you after he asks you to, quote, see to it to let Mike Flynn go. He's a good guy. Let him go. And you say no. What do you think he got out of the people that agreed to take this job, having all that out in the public record?
I don't know. I don't know whether there were loyalty dinners of a similar sort, but watching the current FBI director sit and pal around with the president tells me he got a closer relationship than we've had in more than 50 years, right? Since Hoover, as a country, I thought one of our points of agreement, Republican and Democrat, was the FBI director should not be a buddy of the president's. And I was the 7th director. The 5 before me all tried to live that way. I knew when Barack Obama was downstairs at the FBI playing basketball. I never went down. I love the game because the FBI director cannot be a buddy of the U.S. president.
Oh, okay. Never played basketball with Barack Obama, so obviously I was an unbiased FBI director. Okay. Got it. Again, James Comey, all you had to do was hide. But James Comey can't avoid the spotlight. He can't avoid the attention because, well, really what this has all been about is wanting to sell books. That's all he wants. He wants to sell books. And he doesn't care if he inspires an assassin to try and take out Donald Trump in the meantime. Because, hey, yeah, sure, Trump might get shot, but New York Times best-selling author list, huh? It's a worthwhile trade-off for former disgraced FBI Director James Comey. This guy deserves silver bracelets. It's 10:52. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at United Structural Systems. You see the rain coming through, and if you got waterproofing issues at your house, I mean, you're feeling it today. You're like, oh, I should have got this fixed sooner. Don't worry. There's still time to fix the issues with your waterproofing at your home, and you really need to do it soon because these small little leaks are never going to stay small. These small problems always graduate into bigger problems. And if you let that water get into your crawl space and get into your basement, you do nothing about it, you're looking at way worse issues like wood rot that leads to foundation issues or mold, and you don't want your family breathing that stuff in. So talk to USS today. They've helped over 30,000 homeowners in Middle Tennessee, and they're not about sales pressure. When they show up, they're sending an expert, not a sales guy, a guy that's worried about the waterproofing, not about their quota. So you need to call USS today. Whether it's waterproofing or foundation repair, USS stands behind their work with warranties you can trust. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, online at USSTN.com.
Robertson County got a crash. It is 24 westbound past Maxey Road. It is a 58-minute delay. Stop and go starts at the Springfield-Ashland City Highway 49 exit. And we've got a weather alert day. Going to give you all the details on the potential for severe weather today. And President Trump pays a visit to Republicans on Capitol Hill. All these stories at more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, and the show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. I'm digging into the text line. You see what Sandra sent in? She texted in, so Comey wouldn't play basketball with Obama? What is he, a racist? He must be. 9080 texted in saying, hey, get your Trump assassination gear now, but say a prayer for Biden. Yeah, pretty much. Did you hear this? Donald Trump was talking about the Olympics and the World Cup and the 250th celebration birthday of America. And he said, the Democrats really screwed this one up. It shouldn't have been him getting to celebrate all of these fancy, fun occasions. And he said it in a very Donald Trump way last night.
And we got the Olympics, and then we got through Johnny, who's the boss. He's a friend of mine. We got the World Cup. I got them both. And I said, man, I won't be president. I got the Olympics and the World Cup, and I won't be president. And they're going to forget that I got them. Nobody's going to mention it because, a little bit that's the way life is. And then they rigged the election. And then I said, you know what I'll do? I'll run again, and I'll shove it up their ass. And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I then realized, I said, you know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out. So if they would have left us alone and wouldn't have cheated on the election and wouldn't have rigged it, I would have been retired right now. I would have been happily doing something else. And instead, they have me for 4 more years. Can you believe it?
It's unbelievable. Remember, if you see a liberal in the wild and they're angry that Donald Trump is their president, remind them, had you not rigged 2020, this would have all been over by now. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, we've got a near hour-long delay. If you are westbound 24 in Robertson County, there's a crash just past Maxey Road. It's stop and go starting about 5 miles from the crash. That's at the Springfield-Ashland City Highway 49 exit. It's a weather alert day. The far western portions of Middle Tennessee getting hit with some thunderstorms already. Some of them making their way into the Nashville area. Here's Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro.
We're drying things out mostly through the middle of our day today, late into the afternoon and heading into the evening. Here comes a line of showers and thunderstorms. This would be in far west Middle Tennessee between 3 and 5 o'clock, along the I-65 corridor between 5 and 7 o'clock, and moving out into the plateau between about 7 and 9 o'clock.
So keep it here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN for all the latest weather news. We'll have the full forecast in 4 minutes. President Trump addressing the concerns that some House GOPers have about that big, beautiful bill in an effort to get it passed. He told reporters he has complete confidence in the leadership of House Speaker Mike Johnson.
And again, I'm his biggest fan. I love this guy. He's the only guy who could have walked in with a 1. Think of it. You can't be a guy like me and have a 1 majority. You have to be a guy like him, a nice person.
Tennessee's Tim Burchett telling WTN's Chris Hand he thinks the vote's going to go the way the president wants.
Rules votes at 1 o'clock tonight, which I told the chair lady was a terrible idea. It looks bad, but if they do it at 1 o'clock tonight, they can bring the vote up on Wednesday. And then we leave on Thursday.
Multiple outlets reporting President warned Republicans not to mess around with Medicaid, with the exception of getting illegal aliens off the program. Reaction to former President Biden's cancer announcement continues as Biden's former COVID advisor and Obamacare architect Ezekiel Emanuel said yesterday it's likely Biden had cancer since the beginning of his presidency, if not before. He calls are increasing. For Biden's White House physician to testify under oath about why he declared Biden was fit for duty months before the cancer diagnosis.
This all comes as Biden deflects criticisms sparked by a new book, Original Sin, which claims Biden's aides took steps to shield the public from his cognitive decline. Naomi Biden, the former president's granddaughter, slamming the book, calling it uninspired lies written by irresponsible, self-promoting journalists out to make a quick buck.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. And here in Nashville, police are looking for a gunman after a young mother was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting outside of a North Nashville home. Here's Channel 4's Brendan Tierney.
Metro police say a home here along Wooddale Lane was targeted by drive-by shootings on both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. A 22-year-old woman died after being shot on Sunday afternoon. Police say Kelviana Holmes was visiting someone here with her boyfriend and 3-year-old son. Shell casings from the shooting cover the road, and there are bullet holes and shattered glass across the front of the house.
The boyfriend was treated for a graze wound. The child was not injured. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You're hearing a lot of Democrats right now saying it's inappropriate to be discussing Joe Biden's cognitive decline or MAGA conspiracy theories like a medical cover-up when it came to the cancer diagnosis. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. You're not supposed to be doing that. We're just supposed to be sending thoughts and prayers out. Well, I have a feeling that things are only going to get worse for the Biden administration dealing with what they did and didn't do during the Biden term. Because today, just added to the schedule, we have an announcement, 2 o'clock Central Time. We're going to have an announcement with the president and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, that has just been added to the White House schedule. And I want to point to you what Hegseth announced yesterday on the Will Cain Show on Fox News, saying that he would be announcing today.
From the Secretary of Defense. So first of all, here's one of the things people want to know. They want to know about Afghanistan, the disastrous withdrawal, and they want to know when there will be some measure of accountability.
Great question. We're all over it in our office. In fact, we'll have an announcement, I believe, tomorrow, if not later today, tomorrow or Wednesday, on the developments of our task force. We're moving, we're finding, we're investigating. It's going to take a little bit of time because there's a lot of things that need to be uncovered, classified aspects. We need to... interviews that need to be conducted, but we've found the right people to be involved, one of which actually is Stu Scheller, who's on our staff. He was the one guy fired for telling the truth about what happened in Afghanistan. He's now working in the Pentagon. That task force will be led by Sean Parnell, who's our Pentagon spokesman, great guy at the heart of it. So more to come on that, but it may take into 2026, if I'm being honest about it, to really uncover everything, but there will be accountability. We're committed to it. We will not leave a single stone unturned.
Speaking of...
And again, the White House has just added to the schedule today a 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central announcement with the president and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. That is now officially on the schedule, so one can only assume that this is going to be what he was talking about yesterday, an announcement about the investigation into the Afghanistan withdrawal. Now, are the Democrats going to tell us it's inappropriate to discuss, given the recent diagnosis of the former president? Probably. Guys, this is so inappropriate to discuss. You know that Biden was dealing with cognitive decline during the Afghanistan withdrawal. Maybe they'll say something like that. Maybe not. But something to keep an eye on, and something that we'll be definitely paying attention to here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN as the day rolls along. Quick note, please head over to our YouTube channel, watch the show, hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it when you do so, no matter where you're watching the show or listening. Every platform, except for the FM radio, has a share button. And if you like what we talk about on this radio station, please help us amplify the message. Hit share, hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. We appreciate it when you do so. Another massive story breaking late yesterday, but just a story that I'm sure you're going to remember. LaMonica McIver is going to be charged with assault, brother. You can't just be manhandling and throwing bows at ICE agents. Yet here we are. We're at that magic red line that Hakeem Jeffries warned us not to cross. And I wonder when we cross the line, what's going to happen next? You remember Hakeem Jeffries? He told us that if we crossed the line and we charged LaMonica McIver or any of those Democrat members of Congress who raided the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, we would find out.
Questions?
Mr. Leader, good afternoon. What would your statement the other day after there was this incident in Newark, you said they better not touch our members.
Correct.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do, though?
They'll find out.
Of course. But doesn't that broach a...
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across...
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I know we have this...
It's a red line. It's very clear. First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke. It's a joke. They know better.
They know better. I would argue that Democrat congressional reps know better than to raid an ICE facility in New Jersey. Yet here we are. So raise your hand if you're excited to find out. I'm excited to find out. Oh, I can't wait. What's it going to be? Hakeem. A lot of people on the text line referring to him as the Timu Obama. Somebody said Timu is too good. It's Dollar Tree. And I just say, no. Timu Obama is the move. And if you'll remember, it was LaMonica Ivor during this melee at the Newark ICE facility where she was absolutely throwing bows and this chaotic scene. If you're watching on the stream, you'll notice LaMonica McIver is the one pushing ICE agents in the red jacket and throwing her hand around. acting like a crazy person and not a duly elected member of Congress. So the DOJ has announced charges against LaMonica McIver. Charges have been filed. Shout out to Alina Habba. She is leading this. She is now the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey for the time being. And she said, this conduct cannot be overlooked by the chief federal law enforcement official in the state of New Jersey. Acting U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Habba, announced yesterday that her office has filed charges against LaMonica McIver for assaulting, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement during that incident, which if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you're seeing happen live, playing out in front of you. During that incident earlier this month at the ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey. McIver is seen on body camera footage pushing her way past security guards into the gates of Delaney Hall. We did see the Newark mayor arrested during this. An update on him in a second. But Alina Habba said, I take my obligation as U.S. Attorney seriously. I understand the responsibility that comes with my position, and I will work diligently to uphold the law and deliver justice to the people of New Jersey. Now, on the mayor. Mayor Baraka was the only one that was arrested outside that ICE facility. Those charges have been dropped. Habba said, after extensive consideration, we have agreed to dismiss Mayor Baraka's misdemeanor charge of trespass for the sake of moving forward. I will say this. Maybe they didn't think they were going to get a conviction out of that one because you can watch on video. He was walking out of the ICE detention facility after being asked to leave when he was arrested outside the gates. I'm not mad that they arrested him. I'm not mad that they dropped the charges. I think they would have had a tough time proving that one in court. However, if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching LaMonica McIver in the red jacket throwing bows and pushing ICE agents. And I got to tell you, if I would be arrested for that, which I would, I think LaMonica McIver should be arrested for that, and the DOJ is now pursuing charges. Alina Habba adding, in the spirit of public interest, I have invited the mayor to tour Delaney Hall, Mayor Baraka. The government has nothing to hide at this facility, and I will personally accompany the mayor so he can see firsthand. She noted that the dismissal against the mayor is not the end of this matter. Congressional oversight is an important constitutional function and one that I fully support. However, that is not an issue in this case. Representative LaMonica McIver assaulted, impeded, and interfered with law enforcement in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 111A1. That conduct cannot be overlooked by the chief federal law enforcement official in the state of New Jersey, and it is my constitutional obligation to ensure that our federal law enforcement is protected when executing their duties. I have persistently made efforts to address these issues without bringing criminal charges and have given Representative McIver every opportunity to come to a resolution, but she has unfortunately declined. No one is above the law, politicians or otherwise. It is the job of this office to uphold justice impartially, regardless of who you are. Now we will let the justice system work. To that, I say thank you, Alina Habba. Let's go. Habba, baby. I mean, listen, we wanted charges. We got charges. LaMonica McIver doing her best impersonation of an offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans. That's going to land you in a courtroom in New Jersey. Good. Again, if myself or Mason or Ken, if any of us were doing what LaMonica McIver was doing, we would have been arrested on site. So even this, she's still getting treated with the kid gloves, if you will. But I hope that they throw the book at her. I really, really do. I really, really do. Eric Swalwell on Instagram, he wasn't very happy about this. I mean, on Twitter he posted this. Not impressed whatsoever. He said, a red line has been crossed. Trump is prosecuting his political enemies in Congress. Oh, that's true. Oh, I've never seen that before. A DOJ prosecuting political enemies? That's never happened before in the history of the country, dare I say. This is uncharted territory. We've never seen this. We've never. Oh, wait, no, we saw it. We saw it when Trump was running for office. That's right. Also, we didn't have any video evidence of Trump assaulting any law enforcement officials. So, there's that too. But Eric Swallow says, the red line has been crossed. Trump is prosecuting his political enemies in Congress. This is just the beginning. We must take whatever we've done before to show dissent and go one rung higher. And save your BS documents on this, Alina. You'll need them when you testify. What a tough guy Eric Swalwell is. The man who slept with a Chinese spy, Feng Feng, if you will. The man who slept with a Chinese spy saying, we need to go even further with dissent. Coming from the political party that burned down major cities in the light of George Floyd dying of a fentanyl overdose, we need to go a rung higher, he says. Okay, are you calling for violence? Are you calling for riots? For LaMonica McIver? I don't think the public is going to be really excited about this. I don't think that LaMonica McIver is going to be the martyr the Democrat Party hopes her to be. Yet here we are, Eric Swalwell. Red line's been crossed. Are we going to find out, guys? Who's eager to find out? I'm eager to find out. Department of Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem on Rep. McIver being charged for insulting law enforcement officials. She said no one is above the law. After a thorough review of the video footage of Delaney Hall and a full investigation from HSI, the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey has made the determination to charge Congresswoman LaMonica McIver for assaulting, resisting, and impeding law enforcement officers. If any person, regardless of political party, influence, or status, assaults a law enforcement officer, as we witnessed Congresswoman McIver do, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We thank our brave ICE law enforcement officers for their service to this great nation. Now, MSNBC, when they found out LaMonica McIver was being charged, they were very stunned and shocked, if I do say so myself. This is Simone Sanders, who worked for Kamala Harris at one point, just flabbergasted that LaMonica McIver could be charged.
Now I'm sitting.
Oh, hang on one second. I got too many audios playing at once, and I apologize for that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. This is Simone Sanders on MSNBC. Again, she is stunned that LaMonica McIver is going to be charged with assaulting an officer, impeding law enforcement officials, and more.
Now I'm a sitting member of Congress. I would argue my characterization is going to be it's baseless because I've seen many angles of the video. Maybe the government has something we don't have. I doubt it. But they're charging her, and they can. And the recourse is she has to go through court. That is.
Yeah, well, that's how it works. You get charged, and then you have to go through court. And she says it's baseless. I haven't seen anything that would show that LaMonica McIver did anything wrong. And I just wonder if she ducked her head in the sand and didn't watch any of this video footage, because the video footage speaks for itself. Again, if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you'll see it, the riot that was ensuing as LaMonica McIver is throwing down bows and pushing law enforcement officers to get behind the fence at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Yeah, she deserved to be charged, and I'm glad that she did. Thank you. The Democrats are saying a red line's been crossed. We're going to find out. And to that, I say good. I would like to find out what they have in store for us personally. I do. I'm interested in seeing what they have in store for us. Are we going to go a rung higher, as Eric Swalwell says? We're going to take it just a step further than we've ever taken it before, coming from the party that burned down cities? Maybe. Donald Trump was asked about LaMonica McIver being charged for assaulting ICE agents in Newark, New Jersey. This was his take.
The arrest of a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman.
Oh, give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control.
Did you address
those days are over. The days of woke. No, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country.
Amen.
We have law and order.
Mr. President, thank you very much. You campaigned on lowering the price of groceries.
He said that woman was out of control. There's a new sheriff in town, and the days of letting that stuff slide, that bovine scatology, if you will, are over. Shout out to Alina Habba. And, hey, Democrats, we're eagerly waiting. What's going to happen? Red line's been crossed. Just sitting over here, 10 Music Circle East, waiting to find out. It's 11:21 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And are you living with back pain, neck pain, knee pain, nerve pain? Have you ever thought that you don't have to live with that pain? And you don't have to not live with that pain with surgery or prescription drugs. This is a reality, and it could be your reality. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is changing lives with non-surgical, drug-free treatments that will target the root cause of your pain. So forget the pills, skip the surgery. Let's talk about spinal decompression, a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and your nerves naturally. Dr. Mitchell's going to help you with this. He's trained all over the globe. Dr. Ashley's going to be there as well, and he's a specialist in chiropractic care and healing and advanced chiropractic care. Whether it's sciatica, neuropathy, herniated discs, they have real solutions for you. Right now, limited time offer still happening, the Big 47 deal that will net you 47% off your non-surgical spinal decompression. So don't waste another day living in pain. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville right now, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com.
All right, we got heavy rain in parts of Middle Tennessee, and it might be adding to our traffic headaches. Right now in Clarksville, we've got a 37-minute delay due to a crash 24 eastbound just past Rossview Road. Then in Cedar Hill, Robertson County, a 70-minute delay for that crash 24 westbound past Maxey Road. In Rutherford County, we've got a crash blocking the right lane 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And in Rural Hill, right shoulder blocked by a crash. This is going to be 24 eastbound before Bell Road. Channel 4 says crews still trying to locate a 12-year-old boy they fear has drowned. We'll update you on that. And there's been an arrest at the jail in New Orleans where 10 inmates escaped. That's coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. It's 11:26, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Did you see the one, and maybe I'm spoiling your news story.
That's all right.
Whatever. Do you see the one inmate got busted sleeping on a bus bench?
No, I didn't see that.
I saw that. And it was on Twitter, so it had to be true. But he was like, yeah. He was like sleeping on a bus bench, and he had like his shirt. He had a T-shirt on, but like one arm was out, so you got to see a lot of inmate belly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Embarrassing. You know what I mean?
He didn't get far.
You do all that work, you go, you know what I mean? And then this looks like a good spot out in the open to sleep. Like, I would have slept in a dumpster or something. You know? You got to think.
Boy.
It doesn't seem like it's always the people out of prison. Like, I would have done that a little differently than you, pal. But maybe that's why you ended up there and I'm over here.
Crawled up in the sewer.
You know, listen, I've been living with the alligators. That's what I would have done.
Well, yeah, they've this story coming up, man. They're pretty sure. Well, I mean, they've been hinting that these guys had help, but now they're getting a little more detailed about how it happened.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll find out. I actually have a friend whose husband works in the district attorney's office in New Orleans.
Oh, really?
And she has the best line. She goes, "We're the only people that moved to New Orleans for the crime." I'm like, yeah, that actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Things that don't make sense. Radio segue gold right here. Did you see The View moments ago?
No.
They were talking about Joe Biden.
Oh, really?
And
let's hear it.
Let's go.
The trust issue. There has always been a mass trust issue because politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Now, I say, for me, listen, he's 83, so he's a little stumbly, he's a little rumbly. I can't point to anything that he's done as that he did.
No,
as
he's running for next 4 years.
But I'm saying, I want, not you, but I want somebody to tell me, well, when did you know it was bad?
When he was shaking hands with dead people, when he was calling out for dead people, when he had to be led off stage by Obama via the wrist, when they switched him to the short stairs so he could get up on Air Force One because he was stumbling up the long stairs. It was probably pretty bad just even before he started when he was in that boot because he jumped out of the shower naked and decided to pull his dog's tail. I mean, like, how many do we need?
Well, even telling the story about Corn Pop on the campaign trail.
Corn Pop is a bad dude.
He was.
Also, in an alternate universe, Corn Pop was a hero in that situation. He was just saving them from the creepy lifeguard. But hold on. There's more.
If you knew, why did you wait?
Yeah. So can I answer that?
Can I get in
He
for a
said that
second?
it was after he moderated the debate.
Yes, but that's not, I'm sorry, baby. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're telling me that hundreds of people knew that he was not able to do his job, then where the hell was everybody?
We were live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's where we were.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, they're still gaslighting.
How did it? Oh, you're telling me hundreds of people? I would say it was more than that. Thousands to millions. How many people? How many million people voted for Donald Trump? It was like 80 million? I would say 80 million people knew. Hundreds of people knew. Nobody told me, says Whoopi Goldberg.
Boy.
But it's just, there's certain things where I'm just like, I'm not even surprised by this, but like, are they controlled opposition at this point? Is that what we're watching? Like,
it's got to be.
There's a certain part of me that is, everything's a conspiracy, and I just feel like there has to be a Republican funding this behind the scenes, right? Nothing else makes sense. Why this show is still on the air, why these women are still cackling and saying these crazy things. The only thing that could possibly make sense is that the shadowy figure funding The View in the background is a Republican. And he's like, this is perfect. Love it. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories and drivers again. We got several crashes out there, probably due to the weather. Got Clarksville right now, stop-and-go traffic starting from Wilma Rudolph Boulevard for 24 eastbound past Rossview Road. Then a crash in Robertson County. This is a 54-minute delay, 24 westbound past Maxey Road. Laverne got a crash on the right shoulder, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Then Rural Hill, 24 eastbound before Bell Road. And in Franklin now, we've got a crash. It is blocking the left two lanes of 65 northbound before McEwen Drive. Strong storms pushing through Middle Tennessee right now, and that's going to continue until this evening. Now, we're going to get a little break before the next round. That's going to heat the atmosphere up. Then from 3 until 10 o'clock is when we have this level 3 out of 5 risk of severe weather with tornadoes possible. Got the full forecast coming up in just a minute. Channel 4 says crews still trying to locate a 12-year-old boy they fear is drowned in the Red River in Clarksville. Their focus is where the river bends.
It's probably 150 by 200 feet area. And one of the big concerns and big challenges is the current in that area. So the divers are having to fight that. So in our experience, when someone drowns, they go to the bottom and they stay there. So hopefully he's still in the vicinity of where we're searching.
Now, the boy's father says he last saw him swimming on Sunday, but then he went under and he never resurfaced. And right now in New Orleans, with 4 of the 10 inmates who escaped from the jail Friday back in custody, investigators are working to determine how they got out in the first place. Jim Ryan says all signs point to an inside job.
The 10 men, some facing murder charges, managed to get through a hole behind a toilet.
That toilet didn't just come off the wall during somebody's lunch break. And where's the water?
Answer, says Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams, maintenance worker Sterling Williams.
It appears Mr. Williams assisted these inmates make good their escape by shutting off the water to that toilet.
Now the 33-year-old Williams is in custody while the search continues for the other 6 escapees. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Better Water LLC. We talk about these guys all the time. They sponsor the show. They're good people. You need to talk to Craig. You need to talk to Brandy over at Better Water LLC, especially if you're tired of the weird smells, stains, or just plain old bad tasting water at your house or your office. These guys can help you with that. You got to think of it as like a giant Brita filter for your whole house. They can put one of those in the garage, or they can scale something down for you that goes right under your sink, whatever you need, and they handle everything. They can remove sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli from your water. This is nasty stuff. And they'll test your water for free. You just got to give them a call and say, hey, can you come test my water? They'll say, absolutely. They don't want you or your kids or your grandkids bathing or drinking this nasty stuff. So if you do have some of that stuff in your water, they offer a range of options from reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it. Better Water has you covered. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give them a call today, 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can check them out online, betterwater.com. 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Go ahead and hit that follow button. I appreciate it. You see what's jumping off in the YouTube chat, right?
I did.
Matt Murphy has entered the YouTube chat.
Yeah, we've got a... I think he's learned some information that he was afraid of.
Did you know what's going on, Ken? we had a listener who just had a baby.
Yes, I know about this.
Congratulations to Touche. And he said that he made a promise, an oath, if you will, to Matt Murphy that he would name the baby.
Yes.
After Matt.
Oh, yes. I didn't know this was a...
It was an oath.
Ooh.
There was an oath.
Yeah, Brother Murphy was talking about it yesterday afternoon. He was really excited about it.
He was pumped. And why wouldn't he be? Here's the thing. They didn't name the baby Matt. And take it a step further, they named the baby after Dan.
Oh, so is it Dan spelled with two N's or just one?
It's Daniela is the middle name. They were going to go with Maddie.
Oh, okay.
For the middle name, so they went with Daniela.
Oh, so it's a little girl.
Little girl.
Oh,
First baby. Listen, you're lucky, man. Get the girl first. It'll soften you up as a dad. I'm grateful that I had a daughter first. I think it would have been harder on my boys, but don't listen to society around you. Society will say it's such a tough time to raise kids. It's such a hard time. It's going to be so tough. Everything's so weird in the world. And I say no. Actually, we are at an advantage to raise kids right now. Because our kids are going to be running circles around the competition while the other kids are in class and they're thinking about which litter box to use. Your kids are going to be really more worried about, prosperity and learning things that make a difference. So don't let anybody ever tell you that this is a bad time to raise kids. This is the best time to raise kids because we're going to raise warriors. So just congrats to Touche out there.
Absolutely.
Everything else in life is fake. The only thing that really matters is kids and family. And shout out to our amazing First Lady. You know what she's doing right now?
What's she doing?
In the Rose Garden over at the White House. She is hanging with the kids and decorating American flags. It's a nice sight to be seen. We do all this for the kids. We're fighting here because we understand that our time has already passed. We've peaked. It's about the kids and it's about the grandkids, and we want to leave a country behind for them. So we need everybody to get involved. Yesterday, Melania Trump also did something to look out for the kids, and this is a great thing that she did. The Take It Down Act has been signed into law. First Lady Melania Trump was there as this legislation was passed, saying it's a step forward in our efforts to ensure that every American, especially young people, can feel better protected from their image or identity being abused through non-consensual intimate imagery. So this is kind of a big deal. Cheap fakes, if you will, AI pictures of nudity, and with what you can do with AI nowadays. If you have if your kid has a Facebook profile, they could be a victim of this, where an individual takes that and then creates an AI-generated image or video, and maybe they use that as leverage to get something from an individual, and all of that is going to be coming to an end because the Take It Down Act has been signed into law yesterday. It's going to crack down on the posting of non-consensual intimate imagery, including AI-generated images. And Melania Trump was speaking about the Take It Down Act yesterday. This is, we talked about this with Monica Page, and I had said to her, this is right before she got married. I said, tell me a story that people aren't paying attention to that we should. And she said, it's the Take It Down Act. That's something that should be getting a lot more attention, especially for the positive ramification that it's going to have on our children and our grandchildren moving forward. This is Donald Trump ahead of signing the Take It Down Act into law yesterday.
With our First Lady, though, we've shown that bipartisanship is possible. I mean, it's the first time I've seen such a level of bipartisanship, and it's a beautiful thing to do. I'm not even sure you realize, honey, a lot of the Democrats and Republicans don't get along so well. You've made them get along, and she didn't even know about that. She didn't know we had a problem. But I want to thank you, honey. You've done amazing that this was done when you started. And I said, I don't know, it sounds like a tough one, and yet a very important one, and you got it done. So I congratulate you, and I congratulate Ted, Maria, everybody, thank you very much. Thank you, and we'll sign the bill. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing, man, and he's right. The bipartisanship around it, they signed that bill into law. Take it down. If you're pushing AI-generated imagery of kids, you're not going to have a good time. It's going to be taken down. First Lady Melania Trump stopped for a minute to speak about the Take It Down Act, and she's very proud of this, as she should be. I mean, this is a big piece of legislation and one that needed to get done for the kids. This is Melania Trump yesterday at the White House.
Good afternoon and welcome to the White House. It's an honor to join you here today for the signing of the Take It Down Act, a national victory that will help parents and families protect children from online exploitation. This legislation is a powerful step forward in our efforts to ensure that every American, especially young people, can feel better protected from their image or identity being abused through non-consensual or intimate imagery of I and CII. Artificial intelligence and social media are the digital candy for the next generation. Sweet, addictive, and engineered to have an impact on the cognitive development of our children. But unlike sugar, these new technologies can be weaponized, shape beliefs, and sadly affect emotions and even be deadly. Over the past few months, I have met with brave survivors, deeply loving families, and caring advocates who know firsthand the emotional and psychological toll of NCII and deepfake abuse.
It's a real toll that it takes on these kids. So with this being signed into law, it's going to require social media platforms to remove non-consensual, intimate imagery no more than 48 hours after receiving a takedown request. And those found to be posting such imagery can face fines and prison time. Melania Trump, that's a big win. That's a big win, and it's a big win for the kids. So congratulations to them on that. Moments ago, Donald Trump was fielding some questions, and he was just an absolute savage, as he often tends to be, when it came to one reporter trying to ask him a question. He said, wait a second. Who are you with? And, well, I'll let you listen to the rest of this.
Andy Harris said that you didn't adequately convince enough people to vote for the bill, the House Freedom Caucus.
You mean after this speech?
After this speech, that's what
Oh,
she
yeah, I think
said.
so. Well, what do we see at the voters? I think it was a great talk. It wasn't a speech. We talked about then. Who do you work for?
Notice.
Who?
Notice.
I don't even know what the hell that is. You gotta get yourself a real job.
He said, get yourself a real job. Sir, after your meeting with the GOP about the big, beautiful bill, people are saying that you don't have enough votes. Who said that? Who are you with? Notice. He's like, I don't even know what the hell that is. Get yourself a real job, kid.
Who do you work for?
Notice.
Who?
Notice.
I don't even know what the hell that is. You gotta get yourself a real job.
I mean, listen, if the DOJ was still under the reins of the Biden administration, the way Trump has been savagely handing reporters this term, he would have been charged with assault by now a few times. It's just unbelievable. But the big, beautiful bill, it looks like people are happy, and it does look like it's going to go through. Mike Johnson was speaking about that moments ago, and he says, guys, we're going to land this plane. And if you're watching on the stream, you may notice a familiar face behind Mike Johnson. Over his right shoulder is our own Congressman Mark Green.
We are going to land this plane and deliver this, and we're proud what we've accomplished together. Every member of the conference can be proud of this legislation in the end. It's truly a nation-shaping piece of legislation. You heard some of the highlights here. Let me just give you a couple of things that haven't been mentioned yet or can't be mentioned enough. Some of the big conservative wins in the bill that are common sense wins from the American people. Putting Americans first. I love what Chairman Jordan said. This is really simple. We're delivering. We're doing what we said we were going to do. When you talk about putting Americans first, we're making the largest investment in border security in over a generation, providing nearly $150 billion to secure our border and deport illegal aliens. We are cracking down on illegal aliens receiving Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, and tax benefits that are intended for the citizens of this country. We're shifting the cost of adjudication in the immigration system from the American taxpayer to the aliens themselves. And we're imposing a fee on remittance payments to foreign countries by illegal aliens.
That one's a big deal, and it actually pissed off a lot of people in India. So there's going to be a 5% tax on any remittance payment. So any money that they're sending out of the country, they're coming here to work, and then they send the money back home. 5% tax. I don't know why I went down this rabbit hole last night, but I did. Indian online influencers pissed.
Really?
Like unbelievably upset about that.
Whoa.
And it's like, I don't know. Like I would have expected it out of a South American online influencer, because we know how much remittance goes over there. You know, they send the money back home to their families. I would have expected it. But Indian online influencers.
Man, you did go down a rabbit hole.
They are pissed. It's not just one of them either. It's a heck of a lot of them. And they are not happy about that 5% remittance tax.
Second category, providing historic tax relief. We're going to eliminate taxes on tips and overtime and provide tax relief for seniors on Social Security. We're going to eliminate taxes on auto loan interest if that car is made in the U.S.
Wait a second. So they are going to do no tax on tips. They are going to do no tax on overtime. They are going to do no tax on Social Security. If your car is made in America, they are going to do no tax on that auto loan. I thought that wasn't going to happen. Remember that? A lot of people have been saying that's not going to happen. That's not in the bill. Okay. I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm just taking Mike Johnson's word for it. He says that is going to be in the bill. Okay. Who do you want to believe? Trump says it's going to be in there. Mike Johnson says it's going to be in there. I tend to think that no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security is going to be part of that one big, beautiful bill.
Lowering the cost of borrowing for America's farmers and providing tax relief for job creators.
That's what we need, and it looks like that's what they want to include in one big, beautiful bill. Now, there's going to be some pork. It's going to be more spending than we want, and I think we need to wrap our head around that. But we're going to get some tax relief. Millions of Americans are going to get some tax relief. That's a good thing. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. YouTube is my favorite. Hit like and subscribe if you want to send my kids to summer camp. It's free to do. It's free to do. Appreciate it. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for the Glock Store. We got a couple dates for you to keep an eye on when it comes to the Glock Store. First of all, on Thursday, I get to do my whole show live from the Glock Store. Very excited about that. You are more than welcome to come down, check out the Glock Store, and hang out with us while I do my show there live on Thursday. Another date for you to put in your event planner. Do you have an event planner? You should, because Saturday, May 31st, the 5th annual open house for the Glock Store. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Tons of raffles, tons of giveaways, custom Glocks, premium gear, and more. Plus, tons of deals. Ammo, you need ammo? Of course you do. Burrow Bullets Blowout happening at the open house with the Glock Store. 1,000-round tac packs of 9mm and 223 packed in custom ammo boxes. You're not going to believe the prices. That's happening Saturday, May 31st, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere at the one and only Glock Store. 11:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Joined in studio by Chad Benson. What's up, Chad?
What's happening, man?
What stories you paying attention to today?
You know what? I got a bunch of stories. We're going to talk about the weather, obviously. Is AC/DC going to play tonight?
Oh, that's a big ask.
Yeah. So that is.
Where are they supposed to play?
They're playing at Nissan.
Okay.
So AC/DC, you can't.
Can they fill Nissan?
Yeah.
Really? I'm shocked.
Yeah, AC can fill pretty much anything. You ever seen them
Really?
live? Was it River Plate where they had like 210,000 people in a stadium?
Really?
Not like a free concert, but people pay to go see them. Those guys are, they're still doing it for their age. So concert starts at like 5 in the afternoon though, because they're going to be in bed by 8.
Early bird concert.
Gotta go to bed at 8.
Do they sound like they used to?
Yeah, Brian sounds exactly like he used to.
Really?
Yeah. So they're still a tight band. They still do their things. They're just old dudes jamming now.
Yeah, Angus probably doesn't do 3 miles on stage during every show now, but he still does his Chuck Berry the best he can.
Yeah, and Brian sounds like Brian.
Yeah.
So that's they're doing their thing, and I don't know, much like Spinal Tap, they're on their 28th drummer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, who is their drummer now?
I don't know. That one guy ended up going to jail, right? Didn't he?
Phil Rudd. Phil Rudd. Apparently, he got implicated in a murder for hire scheme.
Now that's the AC/DC we know. So we'll talk about the weather because it could be frightful today.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
What'd you talk about?
Man, we talked about a little bit of everything. Did you see LaMonica McIver has been charged?
That's right.
I'm just eagerly awaiting what we're going to find out from Hakeem Jeffries. If you remember, he said if you cross that line, you're going to find out.
Oh, Buck Obama.
Buck Obama.
Buck Obama. That's right.
So I want to find out.
We're going to find out then.
I'm eagerly.
What line are we crossing?
The red line. They said.
Well, if it's anything like Buck Obama, they'll cross the red line. Everything will be the exact same. Remember that?
Yep.
He said, "You better not use chemical weapons. I'm drawing the line." Then they use them. He's like, "I drew it." They were habitual line steppers.
It was invisible ink.
So that's cool. What did we talk about on my morning? She talked about a lot of stuff. I mean, it was just so much craziness out there. And it's the beauty of the world we live in right now. It's have you seen the controversy over the WNBA and the whole, is Caitlin Clark and everybody in Indiana racist because of the fight they got into? And I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to them. Short of them playing without a shirt.
Caitlin, honestly, but Caitlin Clark is just an idiot.
So
she should have leaned in. She could have just made so much money if she gone the. I'm not even talking about being hardcore, but if she gone in and been a Riley Gaines type voice, she would be absolutely loved by this country. Now, the decision she made was to go on the ESPN magazine and talk about white guilt. Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the issue with that. Now conservatives don't care about you, and you're never going to be accepted by the other side.
No, but you know what?
You just won't. That's a bad business decision. Whoever is advising her in that situation.
Well, if that's the way she feels, though, I wouldn't. If that's the way you feel, I don't know how she feels. To be honest with you, I mean, the way I look at it, it's the WNBA. Piss off as little people as possible. This is the best chance you got to try to make something work, and you're the most important player in the league. But it became a racist thing, and then you had guys fighting with guys. And there was Ryan Clark on ESPN who basically told RG3, you don't know anything about black women because you only marry white women. Woo! Milk Chocolate was not happy.
I think Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese need to keep it up.
Oh, I think so, too. That's what I would do if I was them.
Yeah, it's a smart business move.
It's absolutely smart. It's like boxing, right? You don't want two guys to be friends with each other.
No.
Right?
No,
that's the whole thing.
So,
but it's just funny watching people fight over this. I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to this league.
Yeah, I just think she just really screwed herself.
Here's the other thing, though, dude. Let's be honest, okay? Riley, she looks like Riley. Caitlin, let's be honest. Let's not lie, right? Riley's 400 pounds and she's great at the belly flop. Nobody cares that a guy beat you.
It's true. It's true.
Sounds horrible, but it's reality of the world that we live in.
Yeah, but Caitlin Clark's not like a...
She's not. No, she's not.
She's not living under a bridge somewhere.
No. But again, it's that sport doesn't have what swimming has. Doesn't have what volleyball has. So
bathing suits?
or tennis, right? Like the reason that women are, the women's tennis was always so popular is because, it's got a bit of a sexiness to it.
But looks are going to be subjective. I mean, for every Caitlin Clark, you have 30 of Brittany Griner. You have 30 Brittany Griners.
Yeah. But it helps to elevate your status. Let's be real. Like Anna Kournikova was the most famous tennis player for many years. She could barely beat me.
Yeah. Whatever happened to her?
She married Enrique Iglesias, and they've been happy for like 25 years.
Yeah, nobody ever talks about her anymore.
No. She was a great doubles player. But the problem with her is her looks were so strong that no matter how good she did at tennis, it was always secondary.
Yeah. What do you got coming up today?
We're going to talk about the weather. Are we going to get hit with tornadoes? We're going to talk a little about James Comey just wandering along and found some seashells that happened to me in 86, which I thought was like my wife and I, we were just having some fun on the beach. We don't want to be here, but I'm glad I could show it to MSNBC out of the middle of nowhere.
Is he not the biggest idiot in the world for doing the interview? Where's your crisis management team? Where's your PR team to go, hey, everybody's focused on Biden and cancer. Let's just cut the interview.
Yeah. And he's with Nicole Wallace, too, by the way, who lied to everybody on a daily basis that there's definitely weapons of mass destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. You guys should do that.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.